What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. As you can tell, we're sitting here in the Dodge getting ready to start on a quick afternoon project, or what should be a quick afternoon project. It is Friday for me. Means I am done with work for the week, or done with my regular job for the week, and now it's all the other stuff I get to work on. But it has been raining all week, and it is absolutely gorgeous out right now. Thought about going down to my place and hopping on the tractor to do some work, but I kind of want to get this done and this new part installed on the Dodge, so here we are, and of course making a video for you guys. Now, before we get too far into this video, I need to announce that the truck, the old 7.3 that was parked over there, she's finally gone. The new owner came to pick her up last Sunday. It was a bit of a bittersweet moment watching her drive off, but it's going to a good home. The new owner is a good friend of mine, lives over in Eastern Oregon, so she's going to be getting a little bit of a colder life, which, you know, 7.3s love, but honestly very happy to see it going to somebody I know. I told you guys I would love for it to go to one of you guys, but that's mainly because I wanted to go to somebody that's going to actually take care of it and appreciate what's gone into it. This guy's been watching me build this truck since I bought it. He very well knows what's been into it, and so it's nice having it go to somebody that's going to care for it and appreciate it for what it is. Not to mention, now there's still a pretty good chance that I'll get to see it every now and then down the road, which makes me feel a little bit better. So the 7.3 is finally gone. I took a quick clip of it driving away just so you guys could see it one more time. I'll put that in for you right here. Yep, there she goes. She's gone. Looking beautiful and sounding great all the way as she drove away. Glad it's going into good hands. Definitely gonna miss it a bit, but that's part of life. It is what it is. We're on to a new truck, doing something else that I enjoy. So this afternoon, I'm going to be doing a mod that I do to basically, I think I've done it to every single truck I've owned. It's a pretty universal mod. Everybody can benefit from it, in my opinion, except maybe on the newer trucks. We're going to be putting a new radio in the truck. I've kind of been, when I first started wrenching on trucks, radio and sound system stuff was kind of one of the first things I really started to learn and get into. And I've kind of spoiled myself with decent radio systems ever since. By no means am I putting in like competition level radios. I just enjoy quality sound. And if you've been around for a while, you know in the 7.3 I put in a really nice high quality Pioneer head unit that I absolutely loved. Without a doubt, the best head unit I've ever had, ever used, ever helped somebody put in. And I wanted to buy it again to put it in this truck, but apparently they stopped making it or something, and I bought it at the time for like $300, and now if you find one for sale online, it's like $700 or $800, and I was really close to dropping the dime on it to get that one that I liked, but I figure I'm going to try out something else, something that should be pretty darn similar, hopefully, cross my fingers, just as good. But that's what I'm going to be doing today. Should be a pretty quick install. I have never done any radio work on a 3rd gen Dodge, so it'll be a little interesting. Let me flip the camera around for you guys real quick. So here's what the radio looks like on my truck. Because it's a Laramie, it has this type of radio. I think the 3rd gens had an option for a touch screen, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe that was a 4th gen thing. But the radio mine has these weird little dog ears on the side that are kind of annoying. And there are a number of different companies that make this whole surround thing that pops out and you replace it, and it's built for a double din. That's like $120 minimum. Maybe you can find some cheaper on eBay, but I decided to try something that costs like 25 bucks, and it's very much one of those like typical double din install kits. I figured if I can try it out, well, first of all, it had a lot of good reviews, so I think it should work pretty well. But I figure I'll try it out, and if I like it, you guys will see it. If I don't like it, at least you guys will know, and then I'm only out 20 bucks. I thought about going through and painting this whole surround. I'm not a really big fan of the faux wood look, but it does match the door panels. I suppose I could wrap it or paint all of that stuff, but for now, we're just going to get the new radio installed, and we're going to go for it. I think this whole surround just pops out. I know the Fords really well, so we're going to figure out the Dodges. Also, I always forget to say this. Just about everything you see me installing, I'll try to leave a link to it down in the description. So if you're interested in checking it out, looking at prices, or getting it for your own rig, I try to leave everything down in the description below. As of right now, I don't have a ton of stuff done to this truck, so there's not a whole lot of links. But as this truck build continues to evolve, the whole build list, or just about the whole build list, should be linked down below. If you see any of the Amazon links, or a link to KC Turbos, I'm an affiliate with them, and so it doesn't cost you guys any extra money to buy through those links, but if you do, it does give a real small kickback to the channel, which then brings some more money back to the channel, which allows me to do more fun stuff for you guys to watch. So if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, obviously right now I don't have merch or anything, so that's a good way to support the channel if you want to support it, and you're buying the parts you want to buy anyways. It doesn't cost you anything else, so just so you guys know, that's why. Also, I need to get better at saying this. I'm going to try to start saying this in the beginning of the videos. If you guys like the videos, leave it a thumbs up. Go down below, down to the right of the video, and click a thumbs up. And if you want to comment. But the more you guys like these videos, the more YouTube shares it. It kind of picks it up in the algorithms as people are liking this video, so they should share it more. So I honestly can't tell you guys enough how much it helps when you guys like the videos. So if you guys do, go down, hit the like button. That's all I ask. All right, back to work. All right, guys, we got the dash out of the truck. Took a little bit longer than I expected, but that's usually how it works doing something for the first time. But overall, not all that complicated. I'm not going to do a full like walkthrough on how to take it out, but what I will do is post a video or link a video down in the description. It's like a minute and a half, and the guy walks through the whole process of how to pull the dash apart. Not that hard, but it does help seeing where all the different fasteners are, because down in the center console for me, or that floor console, there's a number of different fasteners that I would not have known about. But all in all, not that hard to take apart. So let me show you guys what we're looking at with the dash. So, give you guys a clean backdrop. Obviously, we've got the dash here. With the new dash kit, these dashes aren't built for a double-din radio, obviously. Otherwise, they would have them in them. It'd be a lot easier to install. So we're going to have to do a little bit of cutting. For me, that's not a big deal, because it's either replace this with a brand new one or cut it. If I mess up, I'll replace it anyways. So I'm not all that worried about it. The kit I got actually comes with a pretty nice cut template that just snaps into place. That's what this thing is. I already snapped it in on the sides here, but you can see like up top, you just snap it in and it tells you exactly where it needs to be cut. So we'll be removing all this material, basically this strip on the side, these hair, and up that side. Not all that much cutting. I had to cut on the Ford too to fit a double din, so I'm really not all that concerned about it. The kit that comes with this, you are cutting off this slot, so you're kind of losing your holder, but the kit comes with one. You can kind of see it sticking out the back there, just a little bit smaller, which it has to be because you're putting in a bigger radio. So yeah, I'm going to get to cutting. I'm going to see if I can do a little bit of YouTube magic for you guys and see if I can just make this appear how it's supposed to be with the radio mounted in. Let's see, 1, 2, and 3. There we go. The radio is in. It's a whole different day, but it got a little dark last night, so we're finishing this video up on the next day. The radio is in, looking good, fits dang near perfect. Was a little bit of trial and error getting it to fit just right, but overall, I think it looks pretty clean. No big gaps anywhere around it. I think it fits pretty nicely. Now, especially if I had the black dash here, I think it would look even better. But overall, I don't think this looks bad at all. Obviously, still got the screen cover on so I don't scratch it going in. But yeah, it is all done. Got the wiring harness all built up, looking good, or good enough. Didn't do my traditional solder and heat shrink type thing. This is plenty. It doesn't need to be a weather tight connection. It's back behind the dash. So got that. Got the inputs for the microphone that I'll be putting on, subwoofer that I'll be adding down the road. Yeah, let me show you guys the back side of this. So looking at the back side of it, it connects to the factory spots just like the original radio does. I didn't actually think it was going to do that, which is kind of nice. So these spots will be bolted into the actual frame of the dash. So when I put this all back in the truck, I'll be taking the radio off of this, bolting the radio into the factory spots, just like you see here, just like those are. So bolting it in, and then I'll be pushing the dash back on. So it literally is just like the factory radio. Should be really secure. As far as taking a little trial and error goes, it's basically one, if your radio comes with a little bezel on it, take it off. Took me far too long to figure out why it wasn't fitting right. It's because this was down on the front of the radio, so it wouldn't quite fit right down there. But yeah, just a little trial and error. I would say just leave these screws in but loose, and then you can get it so it fits, or so the radio sits nice and flush inside the front of the dash, so it doesn't sit back too far or sit all funky and you can see gaps around it. And then once you get it set in the right position, it's all good to go. So I got it put in the right position, fastened down one of the screws so it doesn't move, and so now I'm going to be pulling the radio off, putting it back in the truck, and then starting to put things back together. Another thing that some people recommended online is to not remove these two bottom screws, or not put them back in. You have to remove it to take it out, but I'm probably not going to put these back in, because that's the reason I had to tear apart everything down below the truck, or down below in the center console area, was to get to these two screws. So I mean, you look at it, we got clamp there, fastened there, another one there, and there. I don't think I'm going to need these. I don't think I'll have any issues with things rattling around. So I'm not too worried about it. If I do, then I'll go back and I'll put them back in. But that will allow me to pull all this back apart just by popping this panel off instead of taking everything apart, because I already know I'm going to be back in here when I go to put in my subwoofer. As far as the Apple CarPlay goes, I have this one, and then I have this one. This one's just for charging. So I think what I'm going to do is, this is the driver's side little pocket. I'm just going to pop a hole in the back of it, and then I can run my USB cable back through there. Thought about putting it in there, but it's kind of a tight fit, and my phone doesn't actually fit that well in that slot anyway. So, but yeah, so she's in, looking pretty. I'm going to get back to work on putting it all back together, and I'll update you guys when that's done. I have been working on this radio all day. It should not have taken this long. It looks really good. It worked good, looks good. Pretty darn happy with it, but it was a little bit of a trickier install than I thought wiring wise. The harness that I got was not quite the correct harness. All the speaker wires lined up right, the power and grounds lined up right, but something I didn't think of is on these trucks. This is something that you guys are going to want to pay attention to if you have a Dodge and you're doing this. Third gen Dodge, I don't know if it applies to any other ones, probably does, but the stereos on those trucks, or these trucks, are push button radios. That means there's not a signal wire, as far as I'm aware, going to turn it on. So when you install an aftermarket radio, you hook up the power and ground, and it has constant power, but it gets a signal for key on. When you turn the key on, your radio turns on, as you guys would expect. There's not a wire for that on these trucks. You guys are going to have to deal with the bad lighting. So there's not a wire for that on these trucks. And I got it all wired up and hooked and put back together, and I made the dumb mistake of basically putting it all back together before trying it out. I always tell myself and tell people to do that, and I didn't. I got excited. So I put it all back together, and it wouldn't turn on. And it took me forever to figure out why it wouldn't turn on. And then I finally realized that it wasn't getting any signal to turn on. And so I did a lot of reading and researching online, trying to figure out what the heck was going on. And it's pretty common, apparently, for people to have to run a separate accessory wire 12-volt source for key on power, either straight to the fuse panel, pick a key on power, or pick up somewhere else. And so that's what I ended up doing, was I tied in, here, let me flip the camera around for you guys. So here's what the radio looks like. Very happy with the install. I think it looks really clean. Doesn't look out of place and doesn't look like a cheap aftermarket add-on. I can't stand that kind of look. So, like I was saying, I hooked up a auxiliary 12-volt power. This cigarette outlet is constant power. This cigarette outlet is key on power. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to use that. I'm just going to hook it up. I'm not drawing power from it, really. Hardly anything. It's just a signal to turn on the radio when the key is on. So I spliced into the power feed wire to this cigarette outlet, and sure enough, it worked out. Turns on just like it should. Let me show you guys. Find the keys here. So put it in just the auxiliary mode, works same as key on. As you can see, it turns on just like it should. The colors don't come out very nicely on this. On the camera, they do look better in person. But, so as you can see, the radio is on. Now, let me show you something that this is what I spent the vast majority of my time on, is trying to figure out this. So, as you can see, this cigarette outlet is on, or it's getting power because the key's on. So, let's say you don't want to use it. Like I was doing, I was testing everything with the dash off, so it wasn't plugged in, obviously. Now, when I go to turn the key off, the radio doesn't turn off. The keys are out, truck is off, radio still on. And I took it apart, put it back together, took it apart, put it back together, was reading wiring diagrams. I mean, I was scavenging the internet, and I ran out of resources trying to figure out what the heck, why wasn't this turning off? Because I could take I was taking my test light, plugging it into the actual plug of it. You guys can't see it right now, but plugging it into the actual plug of it, the key on, test light is on. Turn the key off, test light turns off, radio doesn't turn off. I can unplug the wire from the splice and the radio turns off. Plug it back in, still no power, radio turns on. And I could not figure out why the heck the radio won't turn off when there's no power going down to that outlet. But I did find out, finally, this is not the ideal solution that I would like, but it is the solution that'll work for now. As soon as I complete the circuit on that connection, you ready? Keys off, radio's off. Turn the key on, and the radio turns on. Turn the key off, radio turns off. Key on, radio turns on. Pull this out so the connection or the circuit is not fully complete. Take the key out, radio stays on. So, I have absolutely no idea why this works or why this is doing what it is. But it is what it is, and it works. Here's my cable that I ran for the Apple CarPlay. At some point, I might end up putting in a USB plug like I did on my last truck. Obviously, there's a microphone. I haven't put all this back together because it is almost 11 o'clock at night at this point, and I want to wash that stuff off because it was very nasty, and I don't feel like doing that tonight. So yeah, it is all back together. It's all functioning and working. I'm happy with how it sounds. Touchscreen I like so far. I'm still going to kind of get the hang of this radio to see if I like it as much as I liked my other one, but so far it feels about the same quality-wise, which I'm happy with. If you guys have any idea why this whole wiring thing is the way it is, let me know down below, because it makes absolutely zero sense to me why splicing into a key on power wire with the key on, it gets power, turns on the radio, turn the key off, the power turns off, but the radio stays on. If I unplug that wire from the power wire that's already off, it'll turn off. Plug it back into the power wire that's off, and it turns on. I have no idea. The only thing I can think of is maybe there's just enough trace of electricity going through that wire, that, or residual electricity that's in the wire, that it is enough to give the signal to keep the radio on. And until I ground it out and complete the circuit, then it dissipates. I don't know. I started on this at like noon today, and it's 10:30. Radios should not be this hard to install. I've done a lot of them, and it's usually a very quick process. But man, I almost called it quits on this and brought it to a shop. I was really close. At some point, I might go and change the power wire or the trigger wire to turn the radio on. But for now, I'm not too worried about this. I'm always going to be keeping a USB charger plugged in at somewhere in this truck, so I'm fine having it there. Man, what a frustrating day it's been, but I will say that just like it was with the 7.3, when I had days like this, I know this truck a lot better than what I did at the beginning of the day. So I learned a lot, and that's the important part, I would say. I'm glad I didn't give up. I have a much better understanding of the truck. Still a little befuddled, but I'm not upset. But yeah, overall, I'm happy with it. It looks a lot better than the factory radio, without a doubt. Looks a little higher end. I don't know. I'm happy. The radio's in. The project is basically done. And now that it is 11 o'clock, not 10 o'clock, it's time for me to go make some dinner and relax for the rest of my night. Actually, no. I have to edit this video and get it up for you guys so you guys can watch it tomorrow. Looks like that's what I'm going to be doing till sometime in the morning. If you guys liked the video, leave it a thumbs up. If questions or comments or input, or you just want to say something, leave it down below. I read all the comments. I appreciate you guys watching. All your guys' interaction, liking and commenting on the videos makes a huge difference. More than you guys realize. So I appreciate your guys' interaction. Yeah, it's time for me to make some dinner and get to editing. Hopefully you guys have had a good weekend. I'll catch you guys on the next video.